What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's second stimulus check update, stimulus package update, and stimulus negotiation news report for Tuesday, October 13th. Currently, Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin are closer than ever before with their stimulus negotiations. However, the issues that remain are ones that Pelosi considers a deal breaker. Yesterday, we did not hear a thing from Nancy Pelosi. We did not hear a thing from Steven Mnuchin. So I anticipate today we should hear some update. The last thing we heard was Nancy Pelosi say the deal was inadequate. So I feel that yesterday, being that we heard really no news, that in this instance maybe no news was good news. So let's hope. Now, with Nancy Pelosi taking a hardline approach to the stimulus package negotiations, many people within the House are now pressuring Nancy Pelosi to provide some type of relief and take a deal. For instance, Ro Khanna is one of the more vocal Democrats that is publicly pushing Nancy Pelosi to strike a deal immediately. Ro Khanna said that he has spoken to more than 10 Democrats within the House, and they all share the same view. That's really good news. He also said, this is an exact quote, "Quite a few members feel this way. Now, I don't know how many of them will be vocal, but members are hearing in their districts that people are suffering." Well, people have been suffering for many months. It's nothing new. So just now hearing that people are suffering, come on. It is because of this that many Democrats are not completely on board with Nancy Pelosi's stimulus negotiation tactics. They just want a stimulus package so that their people can finally be taken care of. Nancy Pelosi, she is under the impression, and rightfully so, that Joe Biden is going to win the upcoming election. Well, all the polls have Joe Biden winning. Well, that was the same case for Hillary Clinton back in 2016. She was supposed to win. That was what all the media was saying. However, that was not what happened. So right now, Nancy Pelosi feels it would be her best option to wait. Don't take any stimulus package yet. Don't settle on something that they do not completely agree upon, because if the Senate becomes controlled by Democrats, which it ultimately could come January, and President Trump is not reelected and Joe Biden were to win, then Democrats would hold majority. They would sweep. They would have the majority in the House, they'd hold the majority in the Senate, and they would also have the Oval Office. So if that happens, Nancy Pelosi would be better off to wait. And that's essentially what it looks like she's doing now. I hope that's not the case. And many Republicans and many Democrats are hoping that's not the case either. Ro Khanna stated in a recent interview, "We're in a place that we should be able to cut a deal." Essentially what he's meaning is they have the power to get most of what they want and still give the American people what they need. What this is kind of referring to. Now, I don't want to read into it too much, but what this is ultimately referring to is when he says, we're in a place that we should be able to cut a deal. He's simply saying that they are anticipated to win. So cutting a deal now will not give power too much to President Trump in this regard. Also, they're in a place that they should be able to cut a deal. They're fairly close. They're fairly close in their ultimate numbers. I'll read those to you in just a second. Ro Khanna also stated he believes Democrats should be able to accept most of what is in the $1.8 trillion stimulus package offer that President Trump had Steve Mnuchin propose. And that includes $300 billion for state and local government funding. Well, Democrats were wanting $436, so they're about $136 billion apart. Ro Khanna states $300 billion should be fine. They can always ask for more later. Also, $400 per week for unemployment through January. Well, at the end of January, if Joe Biden were to win, and this is what Ro Khanna is stating, is, well, if President Trump does not get reelected, then we'll just have Joe Biden pass another stimulus package where we increase it to $600. It's no big deal, but we'll get the American people the money they need right now. Also, $60 billion for rental and mortgage assistance. This seems fine for both Republicans and Democrats. They're both on board with this one. $28 billion for student loan relief, another good idea. $15 billion for food assistance, and $1,200 for filers for a stimulus check to all the American people. Well, this is all great. The only disagreement that Ro Khanna really has, and this is the same disagreement that Nancy Pelosi has, is right now the proposal from President Trump is $45 billion for testing, tracing, and treatment. Well, this needs to be $75 billion based on what Nancy Pelosi, Ro Khanna, and even health experts are saying, that there needs to be more funding for testing, tracing, and treatment. Even economies, even countries like Germany, who are putting more money into testing and tracing, they're seeing better results. So why wouldn't we follow what they're doing? We follow success. We emulate success. It's what we do. So why not? Why shouldn't we be doing that exact same thing? Well, he urges, when I say he, specifically referring to Ro Khanna, I believe he's going to have a big impact moving forward. I think what he's telling Nancy Pelosi and what he's telling the American public and the media is that they're very close. There should be a deal reached. And so he's urging Nancy Pelosi publicly to offer the additional $30 billion. Offer that in some type of counteroffer. And then if they don't accept, okay, or if they do accept, great. If they don't, come back with a little bit more of a subtle offer and then accept that deal. We are very close. He says we need to end this. Now, he ended this interview by sending a tweet to Nancy Pelosi that pretty much said, make a deal and put the ball in McConnell's court. That's ultimately what people are wanting, for the House to strike a deal, something very close to what Republicans want, or exactly what Republicans want, and make Mitch McConnell put it on the floor and have a vote. That's what the American people need. Now, this is huge. If this actually happens, if Ro Khanna can, kind of pressure Nancy Pelosi, and other House Democrats can pressure Nancy Pelosi into accepting a deal, that could be huge for the American people. Money for testing, tracing, and treatment, for rental and mortgage assistance, food assistance, stimulus checks, unemployment, school funding, state and local government funding. There's so much here. Why would they not want to do this? Now, if Nancy Pelosi really wants to help out the American people, and the House Democrats ultimately need the help because they're in tight elections, then a counteroffer to the $1.8 trillion stimulus package that President Trump offered would be an ideal solution. Now, if Nancy Pelosi were to do this, a few experts are saying that a $2 trillion stimulus package that reuses about $300 to $400 billion in funding from the CARES Act, that would do a lot of good, both for Democrats and Republicans, and ultimately the American people. However, what they are stating is there needs to be bipartisan language. Nancy Pelosi stated this on Sunday, that the way the money was going to be spent for testing, tracing, and treatment was not okay with her. It was not adequate. She also said the exact same thing for state and local government funding. So the language in which the money is spent needs to be bipartisan. It's not just the bill, it's the language as well. The bill ultimately reflects the price and a little bit with the language. However, the language is where they seem to be the furthest apart. Now, as I know more about these stimulus negotiations, I promise I will keep you updated. But now let's get into the COVID news for the day. Yesterday, unfortunately, Manchester, Tennessee Mayor Lonnie Norman died after being hospitalized for COVID-19 on October 1st of this year. And he has been fighting for his life for the past 11 days. So if anybody from the city or his family is watching, we as a YouTube community send our condolences. We're very sorry for your loss. Also on Monday, Johnson & Johnson, their COVID vaccine trial has been put on hold as a participant came down with a unexplained illness related to the shot. Well, this comes after just weeks of AstraZeneca putting their U.S. trial on hold due to safety risks as well. Right now, we are close to a potential vaccine, but companies will not release these vaccines until they have been proven safe. The CEOs of these companies have already said they will not release these until they have been proven safe. This is also good news because as of right now, a vaccine is one of the only things that the United States is needing in order to get back to somewhat of a normal life. Now, Europe is currently seeing a spike in COVID cases. This is also making countries resort to small-scale lockdowns once again. In the United States, the South is seeing the most positive cases and also the highest hospitalization rate in the country. So, if anybody is in the South or really anywhere in the United States, do whatever you can to just stay safe. So, there you have it. That is your second stimulus check update and stimulus package update for Tuesday, October 13th. Just want to thank you guys for watching and make sure you subscribe so that I can keep you updated on also provide you business and money tips along the way. So again, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe so I can keep you updated, and I'll see you guys on the next one.